Caballero, está resolviendo sus instrucciones en el camerino. You receive your instructions in the dressing room. I want a good, clean, hard fight. Dame un pelea limpio y duro y limpio, ¿ok? Gracias.
Yordenis Ugas is a heavy favorite. Tonight's odds provided by Fox Bet. If you bet $100 on the favorite, you would win $5, the payout of $105. If you bet $100 on Abel Ramos, you would win $1,000, the payout $1,100. So Ugas is the big favorite. We expect a tough fight out of Abel Ramos. But again, Ugas, at the age of 34, just looks like he's getting going here. Again, 11-0 and good wins over guys like Jamal James, Bryant Perella, and you know, Joe Goose and Lennox Lewis. He's beaten guys like Omar Figueroa, most recently Mike Dallas Jr., where people have said, yeah, well, you know, Dallas isn't the same and Figueroa isn't the same. Well, maybe they didn't look so good because they were fighting Yordenis Ugas.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Ugas has a way of making it look like there's no doubt he's a better fighter now that he's training under Ismael Salas. That's the bottom line. So he's looking better and better, and he is that type of fighter that can make you look bad because he slips and counters so well. But lastly, I have to say, Ramos is probably the best shape of his life tonight.
Ramos is conventional, aggressive, comes forward. Ugas likes to counter. Ugas will wait for you to make mistakes and then punish you as he starts off slowly here, just taking in the information that Ramos is giving him.
Yeah, one thing that Ugas does well is, you know, he'll lean forward a little bit to make you think that, oh, he's in reaching distance, and then he'll lean back real quick and counterpunch you.
Early going here, first minute of round 1, getting ready, scheduled for 12. You see Ugas is patient in every fight, probing with the jab and looking to move in and fire off a right hand. Didn't happen. Feeling out process here in round number 1. Ramos kind of throwing a probing jab. Wants to see and get the, I guess, Joe, get the tenor of Ugas as well. Like, how fast does he throw? How hard does he throw? What does he look like?
I think both guys are doing that right now, and I think Ugas wants to feel, because you got to remember, Ramos has got 20 knockouts out of his 26 wins. That's a high ratio of knockouts, and Ugas wants to feel his power too, bounce off his gloves a little bit, off his elbows, and feel exactly what he's dealing with, and vice versa.
Yeah, but Ugas has been in with some tough fighters, some strong fighters. So, you know, for this feel-out round, he's just wanting to know what punches he can throw, what combinations he can throw, and what kind of traps he can set.
You know, you can go, and we went a number of weeks where we're talking about fighters saying, hey, this guy's been on a really good run. His only loss has come to Yordenis Ugas. And we kept saying that week after week. We're thinking, well, we got to see this Ugas guy. And here he is now. Get a chance to see him. A high-level fight against Sean Porter, one that he lost a controversial split decision. Again, did not get credit for a knockdown in round 12. It was ruled a slip. That turned the fight in Porter's favor. So Porter goes on to bigger and better things. Ugas has to claw his way back, but he says he wants the biggest guys. He wants the Spence Garcia winner. He said he'd love a fight with Terrence Crawford. He said, I'll take on guys like Mikey Garcia. So, you know, real recognizes real, and he'll fight anyone. Jab driving Ramos back. We're going to keep it here in round 1, between rounds, and go to the corner. Tonight's Corner Cam is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Let's go to the corner.
Estamos bien.
We're good.
Lo único que me hace falta que toque un poquito más.
The only thing that's missing is just touch him a little bit more.
Este asalto lo controlaste tú.
That round you
Pero
control.
fíjate que ya te empezó a tirar el primer swing de izquierda al final del round. ¿Ya lo viste? Y entonces lo que hace falta es que tú estés vivo nada más.
Just stay alive in there, okay?
Y si él tiene la mano muy arriba, métele el 2 abajo, pero acuérdate que
If he has his
siempre
hand up too high, just throw the body shot.
meterle el 2 con la mano izquierda primero.
Throw the body shot with the right hand.
Nene.
We're good.
Toma aire.
Get some air.
Estamos bien, pero tiene que salir vivo, ¿eh? Sí, derecho y gancho, derecho y swing.
Yordenis Ugas said, I lost 2 years of my life. He had management issues, personal issues. Left the professional game for 2 years and says, you know, I'm working hard right now. And you can see the confidence there in the corner.
Yeah. You know, one thing that Ugas does well, and I'm always saying to boxers, they're supposed to be throwing that double jab because it brings them closer to the to their opponent, and Ugas does that well, throwing that double jab.
All right, so that was a legitimate feel-out round right there, that first round. And I think we're going to see the fists flying in the next, at least this round, maybe the third. But they're going to pick up the pace. And he was asked to pick up the pace by Ishmael Salas in the corner, Ugas was.
Hey, Joe, why do you think Salas has had so much success with Ugas and everybody else?
Because he has a good relationship with the fighter. That's half the battle. You have to gain the fighter's trust. And you have to have that personality that they are attracted to. And then, finally, you have to know what you're talking about for them to really gain respect for you. So it's a combination of things, but, you know, it's a relationship. They got to feel comfortable with you.
He's been with Salas the last 4 years and has had tremendous success. And you see just like the long jab, very calm and composed. Yordenis Ugas here, a nice little hook, countered by Ramos. Punches landed, though, 11-1. Ramos maybe landing or 12-2. Landed that hook at the very least.
Yeah, he threw a nice little double hook right there. It was no damage really done, but, you know, they're going to start letting their hands go more and more.
Yeah, I like the feints that Ramos is doing. He's making you think that, okay, he's going to jump in, but he doesn't jump in, so you never know when he's going to jump in. So I love those little feints.
Now think of how tough it is, fellas. Now, I mentioned he's world amateur champion, Olympic bronze medalist. I mean, he's obviously had a sensational amateur career. But just to be a 4-time Cuban champion in those years, Lennox, you had to be something special.
Oh, well, it all starts from the amateurs. I mean, he has an extensive amateur career where he's boxed everybody around the world. And, you know, a lot of people always saying the Cubans are professionals because they have had so many fights. But for him, that's where he got all his experience from. And that's what makes him a great fighter.
And there's that double jab that you saw just a second ago. Lennox that you mentioned. Lennox Lewis, of course, also an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, double jab is so important. And, you know, a lot of boxers don't do it, but this is where you can see it work. You know, he throws one, he throws the second one, and he's a bit further ahead.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Lennox, because it's so effortless. It's like one jab.
Yeah,
there it is.
You miss him with the first one, but you're going to hit him with the second one.
And now he tries with the hook to the body. That landed on Ramos. Ramos, though, is game. Whips out a hook, a jab of his own. Engaging in close range.
See, another thing that Ugas does as well, if he misses with that jab, he comes out with a hook, and it's a check hook, which throws you over to his right.
One of the things you'll see Ugas do all night, if you throw a right hand and he slips it, he will hit the body with his left hand. It's almost automatic.
10 seconds.
Final seconds of round number 2, scheduled for 12. Ugas there with the right hand to the body, off the hip, as we finish off the second round. There is Jesus Ramos, who got his 13th professional win. Now he's watching his uncle, and he looks kind of tense. They allowed him to stay in the dressing room, fellas. Remember, we were wondering about that? Heidi was asking, and hopefully he was able to stay there. And earlier tonight, he got the stoppage win, and he just looks sensational. Taking out Esteban Garcia, who is 14-0 coming into the night. Jesus Ramos, Abel's nephew, 19 years old, moves to 13-0, and now watches his uncle Abel up against it, and Yordenis Ugas. Ramos just 5 for 56, 9% coming into the fight is range. This is how slippery Ugas is. He averages a 29% accuracy rate. He's down to 9% against Ugas.
Yeah, look, the numbers change when you fight guys like this. I mean, Ugas is a very slick guy, and you see him go to the body there. He just backed up a half step through the right and left of the body. That's tricky stuff. But
you know what, after the double up on the jab too, Joe, sorry to cut you off, but like the double jab is just automatic, and then he fires off the body attack.
Yeah, great combo. And he does it all the time. Sometimes the double jab is just to measure. It's not even just to hit the guy. It's just a measure.
He's leading in the jab department right now, according to Copybox, 22-3 already. You see the overall punches there, 27-5, but 22-3 in just jabs.
Yeah, Ramos hasn't really got started yet. He's still looking for that opening because you know, Ugas keeps himself so tight. He's trying to find a way in.
Well, look what Ugas does. He pokes out his right hand, he throws a double jab. He pokes out his right hand, he throws a double jab. He's continually making your eyes follow the bouncing ball, and he keeps you off balance that way. It's very tricky, very smart. And look at that. Backs up again, digs 2 body shots.
And he gets some real oomph on these shots, too. When he wants to throw a good body shot, Joe, he lets it fly.
In my notes, I have he whips his body shots in, and he really does. He whips them in with those long, buggy whip arms of his.
Yeah, you can always expect 2 from him. Never 1, just 2.
And you're right, Brian. I'm kind of a little surprised right now. I think Ramos it's going to behoove him to actually start closing the gap by next round, because he cannot sit on the outside and play a chess match with Ugas. He's not going to win it.
No, he has to throw a lot more punches. He's not throwing enough punches, and he hasn't gone to Ugas' body yet. He hasn't tested out Ugas' body. I think he's just a little bit timid to go in there because he's afraid of Ugas' counterpunching ability.
You're going to face something hard, Lennox, to your point. It does counterpunch, but there's a hook over the top by Ugas as he slipped when he threw, I believe. But he will throw it hard to the body. He throws meaningful shots. He's not feather dusting out there. Good jab there by Ramos. Able to land on the way in, and another jab. Now finding his range. Answers on the jab, throws a hook. Final 30 seconds here of round 3, and Ramos able to get a little closer.
I'm not too sure Ramos didn't land something of his own right there. It was a real quick exchange and an awkward angle for us back here, but I'm curious to see it on the replay.
No, Ugas got touched a little bit.
Yeah,
looked like it. And look, he's landed more shots in these last 15 seconds than he did in the entire fight. I mean, obviously we're only in round 3, but suddenly he's able to touch him with the jab. So Abel Ramos, impressive there toward the end of that round 3. And you see Ugas, he's automatic with the double jab. And then the exchange, and Ramos later in the round after eating this jab. Now watch as he gets a little closer now, and suddenly Abel Ramos able to land with some regularity. There's Yordenis Ugas, landed 19 punches in round 3, more than Ramos in the entire fight. And yet in the last 30 seconds, Joe, Lennox, it got interesting. Ramos able to find his range.
Yeah, I mean, it was a situation where he hit Ugas with a punch on the air, and it kind of made him lose his equilibrium for a little
two-step.
Yeah, two-step, and you know, gave him a lot more confidence going forward.
This should give him confidence to start putting on the press, because he's behind. I think he's lost every round. Ramos is going to have to start taking chances, even if it means he's going to have to block or absorb some punishment coming in. But he's got to get close to Ugas. He's not going to win backing up, I'll tell you that.
Lennox, he's got to feel better, just being able to touch. And there it is, another jab, just to be able to touch Ugas, right? And get in and out.
Well, that's what he wants. He wants to be able to. He was working his way, trying to touch him, and he got through with some punches. But he's got to keep it up. You know, he's waiting for Ugas to throw some punches so he can counterpunch, but they're both counterpunchers and waiting. But somebody has to start it.
Well, round 4, and Abel Ramos again in the black trunks. Yordenis Ugas in the white trunks, and you'll see the number 54 on the front of his trunks. That's his friend Aroldis Chapman, closer for the New York Yankees. Another great athlete coming out of Cuba. You see a little bit of the marks under the left eye from Abel Ramos, as Ugas is already landed at least 45 punches according to CompuBox, and outlanding Ramos at a high rate.
And let me tell you the punch that did that. It was the jab.
Or it could have been that right hand he just landed in the corner about 30 seconds ago as we were chit-chatting. Ugas landed a great right hand, and you were right about Ramos waiting to counterpunch, because he threw the counterpunch, he threw the hook off the right hand, but Ugas got the right hand back and blocked it. So, you know, the counterpunching is not working for Ramos. He's going to have to force the issue on Ugas, or else we're going to be seeing this all night.
Yeah, and right there you see it. Just as you're talking, Joe, to Lennox's point, he's bouncing that jab right off Ramos's face. I mean, we're getting so used to it. There it is again. Double up on the jab. Double up on the jab. He's landed 42 jabs right now on Ramos. 42 to 10 in the jab department.
Yeah, it's true. When a lot of fighters see Ugas fight, this is what they're supposed to get from Ugas. He throws a great double jab. So all those fighters out there, learn from this fight.
There is the jabs right there, are the jabs, excuse me, 42 to 11. He's thrown 125. And look at the percent, the accuracy, which I normally don't point out, but I mean, 11 out of 106.
Should be 12.
Move his head. Wow. Is that Joe?
It should be 12, because he landed one when you were talking.
Well, there you go. I thought you were doing the math in your head. I was like, that was impressive.
Yeah, 11 and 12. That's 1. That's right. Yeah, look, I think Ramos is really making the wrong move here because, and Ugas is probably going, my goodness, I'm kind of happy he's fighting like this. It's going to make it easy for me tonight.
We've fought 4 rounds so far, right hand, but there are more punches being thrown in each and every round so far. So things are continuing to heat up. And yes, as we go back, there was a good shot landed by Ramos there that buckled Yordenis Ugas. Well.
That was it.
And there's Yordenis Ugas in his corner, and that indeed, that was some hook. And Joe, I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because I didn't quite see it. I saw the aftermath as well. Right. But Ugas got clipped by something short from Ramos, but that spun him around a little bit.
And see, it was in close, and that's where Ramos, look, see, he jumped in close right there, boom. That's where he's going to get an opportunity to do that. You got to remember something. Ramos is a knockout puncher. He is not a chess player like Ugas is. He's got to get in there and rough him up. That boy, if I was in the corner, I'd really be demanding that right now.
Well, Brian, you know what I call those shots? Wake-up shots. Anytime you get hit like that, it's like a wake-up shot. Okay, I don't want to get hit by that again.
For a lot of guys, Lennox, it's a good night shot. It's a go-to-sleep shot. For the guys with the better chins, I mean, that is part of, and I'm impressed by Ramos landing that, and I'm impressed with Ugas, his leg going out, and yet he restored his balance right away. I mean, he's just the total package. I mean, just world class. This is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
When they say world class, that's Yordenis Ugas.
Yeah, I hope Ramos doesn't think he's going to wait till the last second of the 12th round to do that.
He did it before, Joe. Why not?
Yeah. Well, he's got to really start, though, I'm telling you, because we could be in for a great fight if he was to really force himself on Ugas and not back up.
Well, he's doing nicely right now in this stanza. He went to the body and then the head with the jab, and then followed up, and there's another jab that lands on Ugas's face.
How many is that?
Ramos able to pick it up as you say that.
Yeah, Ramos is kind of frustrated a little bit. He's not doing what he wants to. He's not getting the punches through that he wants to get.
Let's find out a little more from Ramos's corner and go to Heidi Androl. Heidi?
Thanks, Brian. Well, it's actually interesting. Joe just nailed it. His corner told me that they don't want him to relax at the end of the rounds, and he needs to do more.
Yeah, well, maybe win some rounds because he's likely not winning rounds here, but he's competitive and again, at least able to land. And there he's able, now closing the gap. He's in range with that jab. Marcos Villegas, do we have Ramos winning any rounds so far?
At this point, no, but I did feel that round 3 maybe could have been a swing round because of how staggered Ugas was in that round. That it can make a judge think, you know what, he had the better in terms of he staggered him. He did more damage than just the jabs being landed. But at this point, I have it all Ugas.
Marcos, good point on that. And I like the yellow. You see the yellow, the shading there. That means that a judge could reasonably go in either direction. And right there, Ugas may be a little frustrated. I mean, for him, Lennox, to push Ramos back like that, Ramos having a little more success.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to come forward and throw his double jab right hand, but Ramos was too close to him, so he tried to move him back. He kind of moved him back a bit rough, so the referee warned him.
But you just rarely see Ugas forced to do that. Normally, he just does whatever he wants with the jab in the right hand.
But Ugas right now with that double jab, he's gonna follow with that right hand soon. I've seen him do it a couple times, and that's what you're supposed to do. After the double jab,
there by Ugas,
throw that right hand.
Ramos that time with the body tight, and Ugas pushes him back again. Already been going for it. Right hand over the top, landed by Ugas.
Ugas is known for that punch.
Yes, he is.
Able to slip from that jab and the uppercut as well. Good action here. Mixing it up in round 5. COVID-19 is limiting access to sports and play for millions of kids nationwide. And Fox Sports is teaming up with Good Sports to restore play and bring sports back to children in need through donations of brand new sporting equipment. You can help the kids get back in the game by donating to Restore Play. Visit goodsports.org to learn more. Let's go back to the previous round. Lennox, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing Ugas look at Ramos and say, yeah, I'm ready now. I'm awake. I want to fight. Come get it, baby.
Yeah, Ugas has a lot of fighting spirit. Again, that's what stood out to me against Sean Porter was they would trade, and most guys will trade and then say, maybe I'll box against Sean Porter. Ugas really never reached that point. No, Ugas likes to mix it up. He relishes the combat.
Yes, he does. Joe?
Well, look, I mean, it bears repeating right now that Ramos needs to get on the inside. This is not his game. It's not unlike him. He's slowly encroaching on Ugas' territory, but Ugas is still backing him up, and he's not the power puncher per se. He can punch, but he's not the one-punch knockout guy that Ramos can be.
And Joe, to your point, when he got in and mixed it up, look, he's going to be certainly in more danger, and yet he clipped Ugas with that hook, and Ugas, you know, his leg went out from under him. So that is how you can see it. Ugas can discourage you from doing that. He put some oomph on those shots, but that is Ramos's one shot to actually win this fight, to get inside and maybe hit Ugas with something he doesn't see.
And not only that, he could go punch for punch with him. If he gets right in there, see right there, he shouldn't stop at a right uppercut. You got to throw the right uppercut, left hook, and get back down to the body. You got to throw combinations, because when you get in there, it's precious little time you have to work. You got to take advantage of it right then and there.
Also, you know, when he's trying to get in, I'm talking about Ramos, he's trying to make up his mind. Should I not? He's got to know definitely if he wants to go in or if he wants to go out.
Lennox, good stuff right there. That's like a 3 or 4 punch combination by Ugas, all landing off of Ramos's face. You can see how red now his face is getting, even though Ramos moving his head there, tries an uppercut as well. But Ugas is just sharp shooting from the outside.
See, you're right. It was a nice uppercut, but you're already on the inside. Why not go from the right uppercut and dig down to that liver shot, which is exactly what Ugas would do to you if he threw that right uppercut. He's going to follow up with something to the body.
And you know, that jab, that automatic double up on the jab that Lennox pointed out earlier, is just beautiful to watch from Ugas. I mean, I don't even know if there's one jab, I think. But most of the time, it's like, you know, when you build good habits that you can't even have a bad habit, Ugas throws so many double jabs, it's incredible. Whoa, home run shot, and he goes down, missing with the right hand. Wow.
Yeah, let me tell you.
That's uncharacteristic.
No, he loves to throw that.
That's right, he does. That's what he hit Sean with. To tell you the truth, it was that over the top.
That was the one that put Sean down. It's just a looping overhand right. I call it the baseball punch, the pitcher's punch.
Now, that being said...
have you seen him go down from it? I haven't seen him throw himself into the canvas.
No, not that. No, that was highly animated there. But I got to tell you, the Jesus Ramos in the corner loved the body shot that Ramos landed about 30 seconds ago.
Right hand lands again by Ugas. Now Ramos wants to brawl on the inside. Need more of that. Let's watch again. Again, this is a home run shot. Ugas, normally so composed, tries to go over the top. And you're right, that was the shot that he knocked down Sean Porter with, way over the top, but whoosh.
Yes, he did have success early in the round. He had success with this one.
A lot of those were deflected right there.
Yeah, but there was another shot that he threw that same punch and he connected.
See how Ugas threw that right hand and then dug those body shots. He threw another one and a left hook off it. So he landed 2 body shots in that combination on a left hook, preceded by the right hand. He's just an incredible athlete.
Ugas landing 30 shots in round 6. That's the high point for him in this fight. 19 jabs. Again, you're watching this again, guys who are scoring the fight, the judges scoring the fight, where you're really tallying every time you land a scoring shot. It's hard sometimes to keep track of Ugas because it's boom, 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 boom. Again and again with the double jab. 30 punches landing, 19 jabs landing there in round 6.
Yeah, let me tell you what else that double jab does. It opens up the way, not only for the right hand, but for the uppercut as well. So you can throw any combination off of that, as long as you throw the double jab first.
See, the jabs landed 75-27 in favor of Yordenis Ugas, even though they've thrown him. It's not a wide disparity in jabs thrown, but landed, it is all Ugas. And yet Ramos, this is why he was paid to fight here tonight, to make it interesting and test Yordenis Ugas. He has done that in spots.
Listen, Yordenis Ugas threw double jab, double hook. Now, a lot of boxers can't do that. So the fact that he can throw that shows you, you know, how good he is. These kind of combinations.
Point, right, you can't say, hey, why don't you throw double up on the jab and then throw 2 hooks? Like, really? Like, it fluidly? No, that's not something everybody can do.
Nope.
Good jab there. Hook landed from Ramos. Double up on the jab again, a little pawing right hand. Ugas also, fellas, is able to change the pace on his punches an awful lot, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he can throw soft, hard. I mean, some punches don't look like punches. They're just measuring tools. He's just measuring the guy.
Rangefinder. Right. Final half of round 7 scheduled for 12. There's a nominal belt on the line here tonight.
I think, look,
there by Ramos.
Ryan, I think when everything's said and done, if this continues the way it is for Ramos, where he's just, partially fighting these rounds, and, they train very hard. I hate to see a fighter waste hard training and not use it all up in the ring. That's what you got to do. You got to let it go. You got to use up all of your training. And right now, I don't see that. I just see him playing a chess game with Ugas that he's going to lose because it's a repeated pattern.
That is a hard counter hook from Ugas as Ramos is trying. I mean, Joe, I guess to your point, if you can't wait, because now is when he still has a little bit of steam, right?
Yeah. He probably has a lot of steam because he's not using any of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that easy because, he's thinking, okay, I don't want to use up too much energy.
It's not easy being champion. You got to go for it. Tonight is the night. You want to be champion, you can't leave it in the gym. You got to come here tonight and leave it all in the ring tonight, every second of every round. That's the way I'm looking at it from the corner.
Yeah, I mean, if he was able to get through with some punches, he would obviously throw a lot more punches.
Hey, Joe, your point is well taken there. Final 10 seconds of round 7, because we can say, hey, Abel Ramos, gave it a good shot. He fought hard, et cetera, but it comes down to, do you actually want to win the fight? Can you pull something off the way he did last time out against Bryant Perella? At the same time, between rounds right now, Brian Kenny with Lennox Lewis and Joe Goosen. Ugas, once again, and I've said this again and again, Mike Dallas Jr. last time around and Omar Figueroa before that. Lennox, you can start. What are you seeing in Ugas as far as his pedigree and his class again here tonight?
Yeah, well, it's all coming out. He's showing the fact that he had an extensive amateur career, that he's boxed with the best. He's just looking at Abel Ramos as just another opponent. He's boxed against the best, so there's no way he feels that Abel Ramos can beat him.
Joe, what are you seeing from Ugas?
Well, I see Ugas is doing exactly what we're talking about. He's using the jab great. He's using his distance great. He's using his body shots. He steps back. He lands them. He's throwing in combinations. Look, right here. There's that slip. He'll go right to the body every time. Okay? And it's very effective. And you're right. It's never one. It's always two, Lennox. Yeah. He's a machine. He's a machine. And he doesn't stop at what he wants to accomplish.
Well, this is why, fellas, thank you. When you talk about who he wants to fight, like, there's not a lot of people say, boy, I'd love to fight Bud Crawford. Boy, I wonder what Mikey Garcia is doing if I can't get the Spence Garcia winner. But Ugas is at that level where he can call people out. And I just hope fans eventually, catch up to this and know that Ugas is at that high level with the guys who have just the bigger reputations and are better known throughout the country and the world.
Well, I think eventually, look, his number's going to get, pulled because he's winning. He's competitive with all the top guys. And again, like I said, we could argue about his 10-1 record. But right now, Ugas is showing that he is world-class material. He's going to win the title tonight if he keeps on going like this, unless Ramos does something that changes the course of the pace of this fight. So Ugas his number will come up. He'll get a shot.
And I wouldn't take my eye off of Ramos because, he's always fighting to the very end. So he can always come out with a great punch, and he's got the power to hurt Ugas as well. So keep that on, and don't sleep on Ramos at all.
No, but it becomes less likely to happen for Ramos if he continues to fight like this. If he doesn't actually make things happen. He can't wait for things to happen. He's got to make things happen, and he's not doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe, I think that's a good point because, right, with each round, with the energy kind of dips a little bit, it just becomes less and less likely.
Yeah, but, many have tried, and, Ugas is not an easy guy to fight against. He's a hard opponent. He's hard. He throws great punches. He's hard to hit. He moves well. He's smart in there.
And to your point, Lennox, you're right. It's not just, you have to pay a price to bridge that gap, to close that ground. It's not just paying a price. He'll start you. He'll take you out.
Yeah, and look, I mean,
rate isn't great, but he throws hard, meaningful shots. He sits down on his punches. He's not just classical boxer up on his toes. He throws hard shots.
Yeah, and to Lennox's point about Ramos, you're right. Look, anything can happen. We've seen it happen with Ramos before. Again, different opponent. Varela is a great fighter, but Ugas is in a category of his own. And it's highly unlikely, even though we saw Ramos shake up Ugas in the third round. There's a possibility there, but it's becoming less and less likely.
Ramos trying with the jab. Double jab again. 2 right hands there from Ugas, always with the answer. And Joe, to your point, you see Ramos jabbing and then stepping back, or jabbing and staying there. And that's not going to even win rounds. You're right.
Yeah, it's true.
Final seconds here in round number 8. Again, Ugas is one of the best welterweights in the world, but the welterweight championship of the world will be waged in late November, November 21st. Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. Welterweight champion of the world, the undisputed 140-pound champion, Danny Garcia, who has been, again, razor close with the top guys at 147. Can he get over the top against Errol Spence? Joe, Lennox, what do you guys think quickly?
I think it's going to be a great fight. Both guys are good. Danny Garcia, he's a great fighter. And, Errol Spence, he's the truth. And he's a great fighter. I loved how he boxed against Porter, showing different angles, showing good. He basically boxed Sean Porter like Sean Porter would box him. He was the gladiator. He was the one that was going forward. So I've got a lot on Spence. I believe in him totally.
And to tell you the truth, Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, I think Danny Garcia's invigorated, and he said it himself. He looked great when he knocked out Granados. Nobody had ever done that before. I think this is going to be a great fight, because Danny Garcia's got a high IQ in the ring, and Errol Spence has got everything else, including a high IQ.
Right. I think, Danny, that was surprising to me. And Danny saying, hey, look, even at the top, you can get somewhat complacent. I'm even hungrier now, and it should be a fascinating fight. Again, that's November 21st. We see Yordenis Ugas as pumping the jab throughout this first minute in round number 9. Let's go to Marcos Villegas, who's scoring it for us. Marcos?
Yeah, at this point, I have it 80-72 for Ugas. He's such a joy to watch. He does everything so textbook, and really, he's an example as to why the jab wins the fights and allows you to shoot off your combinations and not take damage. He's doubling it up. He's not allowing Ramos to get in too close, where I think he could have the best chance of winning rounds if he was in close and doing work. So overall, he's shutting him out at this point.
Marcos, thank you so much. Something else, I see doubling up on the jab. Ugas again. Errol Spence, I didn't expect that, Lennox. When I asked him about, what was the toughest part, he said, coming back from that horrific car accident, where he said, I didn't have life insurance. My family depends on me. I mean, there's some real life things happening in his life.
Let me tell you, when he was talking about that was so real to me. What he was saying, and I felt it. So he was speaking from the heart.
Yeah, when you're that age, that's the last thing you're thinking of is life insurance, isn't it?
Yeah. And, thinking about his kids and what could have happened. Now he's blessed. He's blessed to have a second chance right now, so
you better believe it.
Yeah.
Ramos trying to fight back here, but Ugas is able to spin him around, now throwing a few more uppercuts as well. Good body shot there by Ramos. Yeah, I mean, thank goodness, thank God, he's still with us. And now gets back to the ring. We'll see how he reacts physically, but he says everything in the gym is good to go. Ugas just looks terrific here in this 9th round.
Ramos tried one of my favorite moves, is where you hold the guy with the left, right? Hold the guy with the left hand and hit him with the right.
Yeah.
Lennox, that is illegal.
Only when the referee warns you.
Michael Grant is wondering what happened from you, Lennox. Final seconds here in round number 9. Ramos looking to trade. And a good firefight there in the final seconds. And Jesus Ramos is watching intently, and his uncle Abel, and you can see the concern on his face as we go round by round. Jesus able to finish his fight in round 2. Let's go back to the corner and get to Jesus Ramos. in the corner.
Muy bien, nomás que a lo último del round, no se me duerma.
Don't go to sleep at the end of the rounds.
Último round está tirando y te lo puede estar ganando. Te lo llevaste todo el round.
You carried him the whole round. You were counter-punching him.
¿Qué? Sube la mano. Con esta mano izquierda.
The left hand.
Los uppercuts se traen entrando.
The uppercuts from the front.
Está agachadito, pues está agachadito entre el uppercut.
Stay tight. Throw the uppercut.
Un poquito más. En este round, púchale un tantito.
Push him a little bit more this next round.
Vamos a calar a ver qué tan fuerte está.
Let's see how strong he is right now.
Jesus Ramos Sr. there in the corner. Again, that, of course, is Jesus' dad and Abel's brother in the corner. And looking for some answers here, as in round 9 at the end there, Abel was able to pick up the pace a bit, but Ugas always has something in store. Let's go back, I believe, to the previous round, fellas.
Ugas hitting him with some great uppercuts. Maybe that's what caused the nosebleed right there.
From all angles, too. I mean, he throws a hook, uppercut, hybrid hook. I mean, just comes at you from so many different directions.
Yeah, that sharp little left uppercut he threw bounced right off the left eye of Ramos. Hit him right on top of the brow where you're most susceptible to be cutting, as a matter of fact. But I was thinking back to the locker room with Jesus Ramos back there, and I guarantee you I know what he's thinking. I wish I was in there fighting for him right now, because
I mean, I believed what he said earlier, saying, you know, Heidi asked him, you know, are you nervous for your fight? He said, no, I'm nervous for my uncle's fight. I wasn't nervous for my fight.
Right.
A lot on the line here for Abel Ramos getting his shot at Yordenis Ugas. But Ugas going to work, and he has not slowed down. 34 years old, and he looks terrific.
And laid in a great liver shot right after that little combo to the head. And Ramos, in all fairness, went downstairs, but one shot and a couple of jabs.
Trying the uppercut, doubling up on the uppercut. Ramos trying to get inside.
But see, you got to follow up on that. There's 3, 4, and 5 punches attached to that double uppercut.
And that was able to land on the hook. You see Ugas threw a 3-punch combination, missed the first 2, landed the hook. Punch number 3 on Ramos' chin. They're fighting in close now. Ramos misses with the hook, lunging forward. You see Yordenis Ugas, that is a career high, landing 135 jabs. He has been, and Lennox Lewis, you pointed that out early, Ugas has just been fluid with that double jab.
Yeah, he has, and now he's working the body a little bit like he's supposed to, doing some counter punching, not getting hit, keeping his defense really tight.
In all fairness, you know, Ugas has got such a great lead. He doesn't really have to be poking his head on the inside with Ramos, giving him any opportunity. Don't you agree, Lennox?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And, you know, he kind of figured that out a little bit because he's actually taking a couple of steps back and he's keeping his hands in front of his face. He's not getting hit with no silly shots.
But, I mean, why give somebody that far behind an even break right now? He could just box him, keep him at arm's length, and win this fight easily.
I think the answer to Joe, we said it before.
Yeah.
For another fighter, Ugas likes to fight.
Yeah.
You know, he likes it. Stay in there, throwing shots. Ramos pawing at the end. We'll stay right here. Go into the corner with Yordenis Ugas and his trainer Ismael Salas.
¿Cómo que te bajaste? Sí, ok. ¿Sí? ¿Vas a subir o no? Sí, no te me ponga bobo, porque empezaste. Cada vez que yo te veo haciendo la defensa esa con bloqueo, ese fue.
Use your defense block.
Ya tú sabes que la derecha tuya le están haciendo daño.
You know your right hand is giving him damage.
Y entonces, ¿cómo la tiras,
Why aren't you throwing it? Does it hurt?
La mano izquierda está linda.
Sí. Your left hand is beautiful, but you got to throw the right.
Derecha, mira cómo tú le has partido todo el ojo.
Look at how you left his eye.
Vamos, nene.
Come on.
Este es tu día, men.
This is your day, man.
Sí, pero te entiendes, este es tu día, men. Tiene que sacar de donde no hay y hacer. ¿Entiendes, compadre?
You understand?
Yo sé que tú puedes, pero no te... sé
I
que
know
tú
you can
puedes.
do it, but don't get lazy in there.
Tiene que, sí, ya. ¿Eh? Sí, claro, cuidando de los dos ganchos.
Ishmael Salas has a tremendous student there. And you see 10-1 since going to Salas 4 years ago. They've been a great combination, and Abel Ramos is just going to have to do something different here. Round 11 scheduled for 12, and Yordenis Ugas, if he's not winning every round, he's close to it.
Yeah, and Brian, if you heard Salas in the corner, he told Ugas not to get lazy in there. In other words, kind of what I was saying as a cornerman, I'm looking, I go, why are you just hanging your head in front of Ramos's hands instead of, you know, using your feet, using your skills, and using your distance? Why give the guy a break? And he repeated that twice, so he saw something as well that he didn't like about Ugas getting too comfortable close to Ramos.
And you know what? I love the way his trainers talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, he basically says, hey, come on, you can do better than that.
It's like
Why aren't you using your right hand? I love that kind of talk.
He has a conversation with him in the corner, which
Yes.
I like too.
Yes,
you know,
I love that.
Yeah. He's not yelling at him. He's not barking. He's having a just like you would in the gym.
Yes.
Ramos trying to figure something out and get close. Nice combination. Finished that off with the uppercut from the right hand. Nicely done.
Yeah, you said it, Brian. He's trying to figure something out, and time is really running out. He's basically got a round and a half left. And of course,
there with the jab.
And of course, he's going to need a knockout. I don't think it's a question. See, right there, he almost landed a nice right hand, and Ugas came back with one.
Yeah, I don't know why Ugas needs to throw a right hand like that. He can just push it out straight. It'll reach the target a lot quicker.
Doubling up on the jab again. Ramos there, able to stay close. And again, if Ramos can stay close, fellas, as we have learned,
right,
you cannot completely count him out.
No.
No.
I'm going to be white-knuckling it when there's like 4 seconds left. I'm going to be white-knuckling it.
Now, this is against Yordenis Ugas, so that'll be different than Brian Perella, and yet Ramos had every reason to pack it up and say, well, I gave it a good shot, just didn't have it this night, but he did not. Ugas backs him up again with a right hand. And we'll go back to that fight. In case you haven't seen it, it really is something incredible in the final seconds, and we called that fight back February 15th of this year.
Yeah, for this last round, Ugas doesn't really have to get in close. He could just dance around for the whole round and not throw a punch and win this fight.
Now, how many have you done that before, where you knew you were so far ahead, and you knew you weren't going to knock the guy out because it was some, you know, maybe a great defense or a tough guy,
right.
You just boxed and moved.
Right. Why take the chance? Once you've known you've got the fight won, there's no use taking a chance in there.
Final seconds of round 11. Again, we're going into the final round. But I mentioned the fight February 15th, 2020, where you cannot count Abel Ramos out. Let's go back. Again, Brian Perella leading on the cards big against Abel Ramos. And look at the time left in the lower left-hand corner. Let's go back. Oh, no! Ramos puts him down. Uppercut out of nowhere. And he is close to a knockout here. Perella does not look good. In survival mode. He is wobbly on his feet. And he goes down again from a right hand.
Last round, Abel.
He could make it just with this count.
Last round, Doc. Last round.
Over! It's over! Only a few seconds left.
Oh, no.
Out of nowhere.
Oh.
Final round. Can it happen again? And Lennox, Joe, we were all there. I said 3 seconds left because that's what it had on our count. But by the time they stopped it, I looked over to the timer. I said, were there 3 seconds? And she said 1. I said 1 second left. And do you see the CompuBox numbers? Perella was up 200 to 80 on Ramos. He was getting blown out, and he still won that fight. Round 12, last shot now for Abel Ramos against Yordenis Ugas.
Does lightning strike twice in the same place? No. You're right. 2020's been a crazy year.
You see the punches landed. It's almost the same. 210 to 100. It was 200 to 80 against Ramos. And even though he's worked hard in this fight, Joe Goosen, your critique, I think, is completely valid, knowing that he has to do a little bit more. And I guess now, well, this is it, right? You got 3 minutes to try to get a career-defining win.
And I still don't see the urgency coming out of Ramos right now. Look, you lose by an inch, you lose by a mile. But, bottom line is you should make an effort to go for the knockout. He's got 2 minutes left in the fight for a world championship. And it just doesn't look like he's got it tonight, to tell you the truth.
And you see Ugas there, his jabs thrown a career high, 470. Wow. And he's landed 153, and almost tripling up on the jabs landed. Also, Ugas has the third best defense in terms of percentage of punches landed in the welterweight division. And that is Terrence Crawford, #1. Danny Garcia is #2. So Ugas makes you miss.
Yeah.
Although Ramos able to land there. I mean, his defense is stellar.
Yeah, and it's frustrating too. Ramos is trying to hit, and you have a guy smiling at you, blocking your shots. It's kind of frustrating. It doesn't make you want to throw any shots. So, maybe that's what's keeping him from throwing his shots.
And look, Ugas is fighting like the younger guy. He's 34, Ramos is 29, but you'd think differently, wouldn't you, when you see the performance tonight? It looks like Ugas is the younger guy, more fresh, cleaner puncher, just very in great shape. I like everything I saw about Ugas tonight.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. You're absolutely right. And I wonder, though, if a right hand lands for Ramos. I wonder if Salas told Ugas, hey, by the way, wait till the bell rings and keep your hands up against this guy.
Right.
Wait till the very end.
Right. Yeah. We don't trust him very much.
Don't take any chances.
Man, great combination right there, huh?
Yeah, he is digging in right now, planting in as Ramos sticks out 2 jabs to keep Ugas at bay.
And most trainers would tell you, Brian, when you're this far ahead, don't go digging in with 30 seconds left or even 3 minutes left in the last round.
Listen, I can tell you, when you hear the 10-second snap, these guys are going to go at it.
Well, I wouldn't want my guy going at it if we were this far ahead in a fight.
Yeah, Ugas' head movement is so good, but here we go. Final 10 seconds coming up right now. And we'll see. Ugas, Ramos, does Ramos have anything left? Will Ugas even give him a chance? Big roll. Oh, he got hurt. Get to the left foot.
Oh, you see, lightning does strike twice.
That's exactly why I wouldn't want my guy to do that, okay? Because of that.
Trading in the final seconds with a guy who got a knockout win with 1 second left in his previous fight.
Jeez.
I don't know about that strategy, Joe.
Well, you already had the fight in the bag. Why even take a chance?
No.
And that's why I said what I said. It's just ridiculous. But he got clipped with a left hook, Ugas, and he got staggered.
Wow, we're going to take a look at that. But Ugas, give him credit for, again, his fighting spirit, liking to mix it up. Again, he's just winning this fight going away. But they decided to trade in the final seconds, giving Ramos really his only opportunity in this fight. There's a hook, landed. Uppercut just missed. And that'll do it. Ugas
that was
still
at the bell.
standing and winning almost every round. Back here in Los Angeles, main event just wrapping up. Yordenis Ugas looked superb again tonight. Abel Ramos brought it. He was clearly in top condition, ready for the fight of his life. Fellas, let's go back. And Ugas, so many jabs and good hard body shots.
That was like the pattern of the night tonight. It was basically Ugas backing up Ramos, which was kind of a role reversal. And again, Lennox pointed out all through the fight, the jab was the key for Ugas. And then, well, when he wasn't jabbing, if he had his head put down, he'd go right to the body and just dig those body shots all night. Lennox, what do you think about what you're seeing right there?
Oh, yeah, Ugas all the way. He's throwing some great combination, great rally of punches. Starting off with that double jab, coming to the body, then ending up on top. And here's the end of the fight when they really rallied, where, Joe wouldn't tell his fighter to box at this position. This is where he got hit and staggered. This is what Ramos was supposed to be doing for most of the fight, but he did it at the last 10 seconds of the fight.
And that's the thing I kept pointing out during the fight. All he had to do was get Ugas into a shootout. and then, you know, you got a chance. You're the puncher, and he never did it until the last 10 seconds.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
See the jabs landed. Total punches landed 233 to 109. So Ugas landing twice as many punches as Ramos, according to CompuBox. Jabs, all Ugas as well. Even the power shots, 73 to 51 in favor of Yordenis Ugas. Let's get the decision and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action here at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, we go to the scorecards. We have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Dr. Lou Moret scores about 117 to 111 in favor of Abel Ramos. Judge at ringside, Zachary Young sees it 115 to 113 in favor of Yordenis Ugas. And judge at ringside, Eddie Hernandez Sr. sees the action 115 to 113 in favor of the winner. He is now the new WBA welterweight champion of the world, Yordenis Ugas.
Man.
I mean, you got to be kidding me, fellas. 9 rounds to 3, Ramos? And the other 2 had it 7-5? I mean, I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. And Ugas, who lost a split decision to